You know, I don't show my face on camera unless if it's really serious. Today is Martin Luther King Day and it should be a day of peace, but I have nothing good to say about Disney Lorcana and Ravensburger. I have some major critiques, and I've been following this game since the first chapter, since set 1. Now, let me tell you what I hate about Disney Lorcana. Me being a Disney fan, me being a big animator. I've been making animation since I was 17. I've been in love with Disney as a company, as an IP. When Lorcana came out, I was excited that you can play with all your, Disney characters from your famous favorite Disney films. Hell, I have all the Kingdom Hearts games. You know, you can't see it on camera, but they're definitely there. I have all of them. Using Sora, teaming up with Donald and Goofy to take out the organization. So it really sucks when you see that Disney Lorcana has become brain dead. And I'm going to elaborate on that, but Disney Lorcana is completely brain dead. And I played in the first 5 formats. Sets 1 through 5, I kind of disappeared during Azurite, Arcasia's, and Reign of Jafar. When Fabled was announced, I came back. I went to my local set champs, and I was astonished at what I saw. Because when I played in an Ursula Return set champs, we had deck diversity. You had Amber Steel Song, Emerald Steel Discard, you had Ruby Amethyst, you had Purple Green, you had Blue Steel. Everyone was running something kind of different, and it felt like there wasn't anything too powerful at the time. And let me start with Fabled Set Champs. I went to Fabled Set Champs, and I built my own deck. I don't like building like copy and paste decks, and I'm going to talk about that because that's a big problem too. And I built my own deck. It was purple green. It has like damage counters. It's pretty cool how it works. And I took it to the Fabled Set Champs. And though it was a competitive deck, it did not win. But that's not what pissed me off. Not winning is not what pissed me off. It was my opponents. In round 1, I went against Emerald Sapphire, the Baja Blast. I got hit with the same bullshit. I got hit with Tipo, Sail the Azurite Sea, you ramp. You already know how this goes. Clarabelle, you're welcome. You shuffle your card into your deck, and then all of a sudden, you have a bunch of cards in your hand. How much do you have in hand? 6. I get to draw 6. You have this deck where you can keep drawing cards and removing cards with your welcome or Hades 7 cost. They'll play Hades to banish to your inkwell. And it removes complete interactivity. And I'm going to talk about interactivity and why Ravensburger is a hypocrite when they talk about interactivity. Because it's a fucking joke. So, in my second game at the Fabled Set Champs, I'm like, alright, cool, I'm shuffling my deck. Alright, let's do this. I get hit with the Baja Blast again. It's the same thing. This one has Under the Sea, so it gets rid of all my low-cost characters. Turn 1, whatever. Turn 2, Tipo. Turn 3, Sail the Azurite Sea. First of all, Sapphire is one bullshit color. Because there's no reason you should have 5 ink on turn 3 and your opponent has 2 or 3 ink. The chances of you beating a Sapphire deck going second is almost impossible. You're not going to really have a good experience going against a deck, a color type that's designed to have more ink than you, designed to drop stronger bodies than you. Sapphire on its own is probably weak, right? But they pair it with purple. They pair it with colors like emerald, and all of a sudden all of its weaknesses go away. And that was always the problem in Lorcana. Like Sapphire was just like, alright, I'm going to ramp my ink and then I'm going to play Ruby. Or I'm going to play Steel, and all of a sudden your deck is too damn strong. I feel like a lot of cards, and I made a Reddit post about this, a lot of cards in Sapphire should be limited or banned. I think Azurite, Sail the Azurite Sea should definitely be banned. I think Tipo should be limited to 1 or 2 copies. I think hell, even that new Cinderella in set 10 completely broken. And I'm gonna talk about that too. I'm gonna talk about the deck building and the problem with that. So my third game in Fabled Set Champs was also Baja Blast. And you can tell at that point I wasn't saying good luck, have fun. I was just kind of like mad. I wasn't talking to my opponent. I wasn't smiling. I didn't say good job. I didn't say good game. You know what's funny? Whenever I play people who play Emerald, Sapphire, they don't look too happy themselves, you know? I don't think in their head they think, oh, I'm really good at Disney Lorcana. I don't think... It's like you're a sellout. You just copied and pasted the deck from Dreamborn, and you think you're good at the game. You're probably even worse at the game, because recently the Disney World Champions, the challenge event, who were the final two? Who made it to the top two? It was Emerald, Sapphire, Baja Blast, Mirror Match versus Emerald, Sapphire, Baja Blast. The top two decks are literally a mirror match. And you're playing this in locals and you're not over there in Disney, then you suck. You suck. You're playing the number one deck in the game and you think you're good at it. You didn't even make this deck. You didn't even modify it. You copied and pasted it. Paid $200, $300. Came to the set champs thinking you were gonna make friends. People want to be friends with the Baja Blast guy. I don't even fucking like you. You know? And it's funny because when you bring your own deck and you win, people are like, wow, like, what does that card do? What does that card do? They're always reading your cards because they rip open a booster box and they don't even read the cards that you just purchased. What does that do? What does that do? And you'll hear this a lot, that when you do win with your own kind of deck, like let's say you're running like detectives or you're running princesses and princes and you win, people are like, wow, man, that was a really good game. Like, I didn't see that coming. Like, they're kind of like, they're shocked and appalled that you actually won with something of your own creativity. And I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day, and what I liked about Yu-Gi-Oh is that there was 100 different decks. There was like 20. All right, my recording stopped, so I'm going to continue. With Yu-Gi-Oh, there was like 20 relevant meta decks, and you actually could have fun. And if something was too strong, they had a ban list and a limit list. So after round 3 of the Fabled Set Champs, I just left. I was like, all right, I need to edit my deck, make my deck stronger. I saw its weaknesses, but at the time, I didn't think the Baja Blast was as toxic as it was. I went on the internet and people were talking about, how do you beat this deck? How do you beat this deck? Well, you don't. So, all right, here comes Whispers in the Well. Before Whispers in the Well, I think around the time Whispers came out, there was the Infinity event. So, the Whole New World promo, I have it right here. Give me a second. So around this time, it was the Infinity Whole New World event, right? And here's my next rant. It's either Ravensburger or Disney, but I'm pretty sure this is a Ravensburger fault. And Ravensburger is an older company than Disney. Ravensburger has been making games since like the 1800s, so they should know game balance better than any company on this planet. Like, Nintendo and Ravensburger are like the oldest gaming companies. But I digress. So, Infinity, right? I brought my deck back. I still ran purple green, and I added some old cards like Ring the Bell and stuff like that. Tell me, whose bright idea? We're signing up and we're registering for the Infinity, and some guys are talking about Hiram Flaversham. And I'm like, what do you mean Hiram Flaversham? He's banned. You can't play him. And then the guy who's running the event, he looks on the computer and he's like, oh no, that's legal. Oh no, that's legal. You know what's funny? My first deck in the game was Emerald Steel Discard. Emerald Steel Discard with Bucky. Bucky got freaking errata. So guess what? He can't come back to Infinity, but this bastard can. Disney Lorcana only has 3 banned cards. Fortisphere, this bastard, and this bastard. But he got errata, so he can come back. Fortisphere can come back, but he can't come back because he got nerfed. He's a 3-drop now. He doesn't have ward anymore, and his effect is completely different. He can only like discard if you shift a Floodborn. It's absolute dog. Tell me, whose wise idea was that? Come on. So let's continue. I'm playing the Infinity set champ or whatever for the Whole New World promo. And guess what they're playing? Everyone's playing red, blue, Hiram Flaversham. They're using Hiram. They're playing Popsicle, and they're popping the Popsicle with Tamatoa and Be Prepared. It was brain dead. Everyone just brought the same deck. Like they went on the internet and just said, yeah, we got to bring back Hiram Flaversham. And you know what's funny? Ravensburger, when they banned this card, they put out a statement. No, when they banned this card, they put out a statement, right? And the statement was, we want to improve the overall experience for Disney Lorcana players. That removing interactivity is toxic to the game or something. That you don't want a game where there isn't interactivity. And discard removes interactivity. So discard is it's a meta. Like if you can't beat them, just stop them from playing their cards. But Ravensburger really hates discard. And they really love this color, Sapphire. How does having too much ink on one side of the board not screw up the balance of the game? Ruins interactivity. So the Baja Blast, remember, it removes interactivity. You can't do anything. Every card you play is going in your inkwell or getting shuffled back into your deck. Or you're going to play Basil. Basil's going to bounce you back to your hand. It completely removes interactivity. So they got rid of him because apparently he made people mad. But everyone's been complaining about this guy, and you brought him back. I believe the ban list should be permanent amongst all formats. There's only 3 banned cards. So why would you allow 2 of your 3 cards to come back and ruin people's experience? Am I friends with those guys who played Hiram Flaversham at the damn set champs? The Infinity event? Fuck no. Hell no. Why would I be your friend? You're playing every broken deck, copy and paste deck. You're playing banned cards that you know people were pissed about. And I'm supposed to say, congrats, bro, you're so smart bringing Hiram Flaversham. You're a sellout for a shitty ass Whole New World promo that's worth like $10. Congratulations. You lost friends and now you're the asshole for $10 of shitty Lorcana promos that are worth nothing. Cool. So at this point, the Fabled set chance was a disaster, plagued with Baja Blast. I'm like, cool, that's set 9. The Infinity event, which took place in December, was a disaster. Plagued with, I don't know, old decks that you thought were long dead because Hiram was gone, and Hiram is back. Shit. Now, we go to the Whispers in the Well set champ, right? Do you think it's any better? No, it's even worse, because now they have the Cinderella. And Cinderella, for some reason, they gave Sapphire. And the thing is, Sapphire would be okay if you were allowed to ramp at the cost of having no hand. But all these new Sapphire cards like Cinderella or Sail the Azurite Sea, it allows you to ink and then draw and refill your hand. Or Tipo, it allows you to draw and refill your hand so you don't get that negative effect of inking too much. Because all the other colors like Emerald, like Ruby, like Steel, like you can't ink too much because you might need that card. So there's certain turns in Lorcana where you're not inking and you're holding that card in your hand. Sapphire does not have that problem because Cinderella, I get to draw one and I get to ink. And then if you have 2 Cinderellas, for some reason they trigger off of each other. I felt like Cinderella's effect should have been like if you have another princess in play. Not if you played a princess this turn, trigger the draw in the ink. And this is why I'm saying Ravensburger, like, are you brain dead? Like, are you serious? Do you understand game design? Because you want to, Ravensburger want people to run princesses, right? You want people to run themed decks like the Seven Dwarves, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, pirates, aliens. You want people to run detectives, and you want people to run princesses. Then you should have written or errata that Cinderella should be, if you play another princess, you get to ramp and drop an ink. Not that, oh, it triggers itself. And then I played in the Whisper set champ, some asshole, he played 3 Cinderellas in a row. It's even worse. It's like Visions, look at the top 5. Develop, look at the top 2. Put one in my hand, one in the bottom of the deck. Sapphire has too much draw even without Popsicle. Visions, develop, Cinderella. Now I have 2 Cinderellas, so now I can draw 2, I can ink 2. And the asshole played 3 Cinderellas on turn, like, I don't know, 6. He had another Cinderella. So what did he do? It triggered all 3 of them, apparently. And he drew 3 cards, and he inked 3 cards. So, bro, he had like 10 ink. I had like 5. I'm like, how is this fair? Everything he played after that was Basil, 7-drop, Hades, 7-drop, John Silver, 6. Everything he played after that was devastating. There was no interactivity. I couldn't do anything. Clarabelle, oh, how much do you have in hand? So God forbid you have more cards in your hand. And this guy, he dumped all his cards into the inkwell, and he dumped all his cards on the board. And what I hate about the Baja Blast is just that you're not smart, bro. You just copied and pasted a deck. Every deck I have in Lorcana, with the exception of the first deck I've ever played, Emerald Steel, was of my own design. I just built a deck with my friend last night. I built a completely unique discard deck that I haven't seen on any deck list, that we modified, that we created ourselves, and we're going to take it to locals, and we're going to kick everyone's ass with it. And if we don't, we lost with our own baby. That would be like, you know, like, why would you do something someone else is doing? Why would you dress like someone else? Why would you talk like someone else? Why would you eat something because someone else was eating it? So Disney Lorcana, like, now that interactivity that I saw in Ursula's Return, I come to the Whispers and there's only 3 decks. People are playing Baja Blast, Purple Steel, or Blurple. And now I'm seeing a bunch of Blurple players. Like yesterday we went to another Whispers, we went to a second one. And people are playing Blurple like you're so good at playing blue and purple. It's the same thing. Into the Unknown, Hades, the 5-drop Elsa, 5th Spirit or whatever, the one that has rush and evasive and it can exert. And then there was no differences between the deck. I was going against a Blurple player. My friend was going against a Blurple player, and it was kind of like we had the same experience, even though it was 2 different people. It was not fun. I didn't want to be friends with these guys that you couldn't come up with your own deck for locals. You know, everyone's playing decks that are being played at the highest level in Disney World. In my opinion, if you're gonna do that, you should be at Disney World. Go over there. Play for big money. Play for the Mickey with your pay-to-win deck. But don't take a pay-to-win deck to locals. A deck that you didn't design, that you copied and pasted off of Dreamborn, and think that you're a good Lorcana player. No, you're someone who's obsessed with winning, not a good Lorcana player. Because if you're a good Lorcana player, you know, it's interesting, like during like a pre-release and you're forced to play with just the cards that you rip open, those guys fucking lose. They lose really bad. Yeah, because you suck at building decks. And then that's when I start winning. Like, oh, this. You make do with what you got. These guys, they don't know how to lose. They don't know how to. And it's funny, I was playing the Baja Blast guy, and he was just like this like white dude. He was like this nerdy guy. He was just like, he was so stiff. He looked like he wasn't even happy playing his deck. Meanwhile, I'm talking about my deck, and I'm like, yeah, this is of my own creation. Like, you like that combo? I thought of it myself. You know what I mean? It's like when you have like a kid that you're very proud of. Like, you know, that's my baby. That's like, yo, I made that. That's mine. You know what I mean? Like, that's all me. That's, you know, you feel much better with something that you made, not something that you copied. Like AI art, bro. Like, oh, I made that painting myself. I didn't use AI or anything. You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel copying someone else's shit? Taking it to a tournament, and then did you really feel like you won? But my rant is simple. Going second against Sapphire, you're gonna lose. If you do win, congratulations. Maybe they had a bad hand or they tilted. Ravensburger needs to create more going second. Winter Spell and all the sets should be going second. Another thing, Ravensburger needs to make it so all the colors can ramp. I mean all of them. They all should have some card that lets them ramp. Like Hey Hey. I have Hey Hey in my deck as a counter to Sapphire and I still lost. Because I wasted my turn 3 playing Hey Hey so I can ramp when I should have played something like Cheshire or Potion of Malice. I wasted my turn 3 playing Hey Hey being on the defense to counter ramp for Sapphire. They're playing what they want, I'm playing what I don't want. There needs to be multiple types of Hey Heys for different colors. Just like we have like Steel Champion, Ruby Champion, Emerald Champion. We have Emerald Chromacon, Steel Chromacon, Ruby Chromacon. You need to have something in every color that allows you to draw. You need to have something in every color that allows you to ramp. You need to have something in every color. And Ravensburger, listen up. You need to punish people for having too much ink. There should be cards that are written. If your opponent has 7 or more ink, you can play this for free. If your opponent inked twice this turn, you can play this for free. Like a hand trap, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, oh, you did that? You special summoned more than once? I get to draw a card. Like Ash Blossom. And I come from Yu-Gi-Oh! I love Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! It might not be worth any money, but they still have hardcore players to the game. The anime might be complete trash now. The cards are worth dirt, a penny or two, but they have good cards. They have strong decks. When a deck is too strong, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Konami, they don't hesitate to put it on the ban list or limit it. Disney is like, oh, we can't ban Cinderella. Who gives a fuck? Ban that bitch. Who gives a fuck? Ban Cinderella. If you created a card that was too strong and it just came out, you have to have the balls to ban it or limit it, even if it has an enchanted, even if it has an iconic. Ban it, bro. Like, come on. So, there needs to be more balance. You can make Sapphire do all this crap, but it's just like, it's funny because you create Under the Sea and Spooky Sight. These 2 cards alone can get rid of Hyper Aggro. It could board wipe Hyper Aggro. I was playing Amber Purple. All my characters are 1-drop, 2-drop, or 3-drop, just trying to get as much bodies on the board and go sideways. I get hit with Under the Sea. I got board wiped in the Fabled set champs. I got board wiped 3 times in a row. Under the Sea, Under the Sea, Under the Sea. So they have 1 card in Emerald, Under the Sea, that can board wipe all your weak characters. And then they have Spooky Sight, which does the same thing. It's like 3 costs. Under the Sea is like if you have less than 3 attack, and Spooky Sight is if you're 3 costs or less. And why do you put them in Amber and Emerald? And then there's a card called Ink Geyser, where you need to be running Amber and Emerald to use it. And it can kind of make both players reset their ink to 3. Why isn't that card in another color, like Ruby or Steel or Amber? Or it should be not even a dual ink type. It should be a single ink color, and it shouldn't be in blue. Why is it in blue? So the only way you can beat Amber Emerald is to play Amber Emerald and run Ink Geyser, so you could reset their ink. So it's just a mirror match. And the thing is like, there aren't decks anymore, bro. There aren't decks. When Winter Spell comes out, people are going to look at it. They're going to be like, wow, there's like 3 or 4 cards. And they're going to swap out something in their deck for something better. Just like in Fabled, the Baja Blast got stronger because they added Cinderella. They added Malicious Mean and Scary with the Prince Philip combo. All they did was take a toxic deck and make it even more toxic. They didn't change and create a brand new deck. And all these guys, it's funny because I can't be friends with these guys at locals. Like, you're a brain dead retard. You're playing a copy and paste deck. You're taking someone else's success, someone else's deck. You're playing with it. And what I hate about the internet nowadays is that when you do get a really good deck that comes out, oh my god, man, this person won the CCQ, this person won the challenge with this deck. Your whole deck list is available, it's public, everyone's going to look at it, everyone's going to copy it, and you're going to end up playing against your own deck in the future. Which means that the people who create these cool decks, they're constantly looking to create even newer decks because they have to get the drop on their old creation. It sucks. Like, it's like inventing guns, and then now you have to worry about getting shot by a gun that you invented. So it's like, bro, I need to create a rocket launcher because you're gonna have guns now. And then you created a rocket launcher and you can protect yourself against guns. And now everyone has rocket launchers, and you need to have a tank. You need to have a tank because, like, people all have rocket launchers now. That's just the logic. So I have a feeling that even if my purple-green damage counter deck did really, really well, went all the way to the top, eventually people would just copy my deck list, and I'd have to create something brand new. So there's only it's like me and maybe like 10 other guys on the planet in Disney Lorcana actually making unique decks just so some dude on YouTube can spill the beans on your deck list, or some dude on Dreamborn, he just copies and pastes your deck list. And you're mirror matching in locals, you're mirror matching at challenges, you're mirror matching in Disney World. Kudos to the guy who created the Baja Blast, the first guy who actually sat down and made the damn deck. But I feel sorry for everyone else who copied it and thought that they had skill. That guy should be running that deck. It's his glory. That deck should be retired. The second that deck won, that every card in that deck should have been on the ban or the limit list, so you can have fresh interactivity. I feel like every time someone wins a challenge event, their whole deck should be added to the ban and the limit list, so we can get something new. So you can force people to play with new cards and get other cards. But instead, we don't have that. You know what we have? We have another format of Baja Blast. So why the hell would I want to go to the Winter Spell Set Champions? Tell me. So I can go against Purple Steel again, Baja Blast again, Blurple again, but this time a little stronger. You added one card, bro. You didn't even make a new deck. You added one card. You swapped out one card. Disney Lorcana is brain dead, bro. Poor game design. There's no going second interaction. There's no hand traps. There's no punishment for having too much ink, but for some reason you get punished for having too much characters. Disney hates discard, even though discard is one of my favorite things to do, because this whole game is like draw 2, draw 3. We need to punish people and leave them in a state of top deck. What's wrong with top decking by turn 4 or 5? What's wrong with top decking? That's part of the game, bro. Disney hates that. They really love blue for some reason. Maybe they're, I don't know, they have a hard on for blue. Like, blue's my favorite color. Blue for the Democrats. Maybe, I don't know, because for some reason they love blue. They love making blue so damn strong. I love this game. I love Disney, but it makes me want to quit. Every time I come to a locals, I just want to quit. I'm like, bro, you're not smart. The person who copies someone else's homework at school, was that person ever fucking smart? If you copied someone's homework every day and you never did your work, were you smart if you got an A? Because you copied the smart kid's assignment? No. That doesn't make you smart. But the person who got a C and did it on their own, or you got a B plus and you did it on your own, and you didn't copy anyone, you didn't have help from anyone, that person will always go further in life, I promise you. Because ingenuity is what runs this world. New ideas and creativity, not copying what someone else did, taking credit for it. You're a fucking loser. So Ravensburger, Disney Lorcana, please change things up. This is an angry love letter to Ravensburger and Disney Lorcana. This is Martin Luther King Day, a day of peace, but today I must spread fire, the wick of my fury. In order to make this game change, we have to be very critical of it. Copy Yu-Gi-Oh, right? You love copying. You want to copy. Copy Yu-Gi-Oh. Create hand traps. Create turn 2 interactivity. Ban things and actually keep them banned. When Hiram was banned, he should have never came back. That card should have been burned at the fire pit. Keep it banned and keep it gone. See ya. Sam out.